Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on the map Lavender Bender. Let's have a quick look at the map. And here are the possible start positions. 4 triple mexes give you plenty of options to start with. Unlike others, this map features a south to east spawn box layout, so players will be fighting around the map rather than across the middle of it. Plenty of cliffs and hills will block radar vision and make it difficult for you to see where your opponent's coming from. At the corners of the map, see that there's this river with plenty of metal points around it. And at the bottom corner, there is also a bit of a lake with 2 metal points just in the corner. These will be hard to get unless you go vehicle, amphibious, or hovers for some reason. But once you get them, they're pretty much not going to be contested. And that's it when it comes to Lavender Bender. Let's jump straight into the map. And here we go. So we have a 1v1 with Neb and Dominator. This replay is from Bar Fight Night when they were trying out the tech mod. What is the tech mod, you say? Well, what it does is it removes a bunch of factories and splits them up into different factories in an attempt to try and deal with co-op gameplay, as well as just making it not so easy to rush Tech 2. Now, there is a whole video that Neb did for the Fight Night crew explaining the whole thing, so I'm not going to go over everything to do with it. If you're interested, look in the description of the video. There will be a link there to Neb's video. What you can see, though, is the commander is unable to build the hovercraft lab. And as we select this here, this will build Tech 2, but doesn't have access to all of the normal Tech 2 units. You can kind of see at the bottom there, the Tsar is not there. The Tsar actually is in what would be Tech 3, and then normal experimentals would be in Tech 4. So it splits it up quite a bit. Hovercrafts are now included in just the normal building line. You can see the hovercraft constructor is in the Tech 2 factory. And the Tech 2 factory itself is also a little bit cheaper than what it would used to be. Normal factories as well are a lot cheaper. So the plan is basically to make it so that you're able to build more factories or more choice of factories rather than necessarily going up into like a single chain as such. Now, Neb's start position here has worked out quite well for him because he can walk over, get these 2 mexes in the corner that we spoke about in the intro, and he doesn't really have to worry about them. And then if he's able to move up to here, which would be a start position, it's a pretty good place to hold. Neb only just finding out now that Dominator is not in that location, which will be very valuable to him. Now, if they were both fighting where Neb started and Doom, that would be a very, very close fight, and it would see it be pretty quick. But with Dominator spawning on the far side, it's going to take a little while before any units get to each other. Now, I don't think we're going to see much in the way of raids be successful here. The map's just a bit too big for it to really do anything. Saying that, though, all of those got absolutely destroyed, but with LLTs here, they ain't going to get very far. This is a very large map, as we mentioned in the intro. There's a lot of metal points had. And we'll notice that radar tends to be quite difficult. We may end up seeing uses of these little hidey bits here. Because if you're like here or here, you know, your opponent's radar coming down from this way, they aren't going to see your units until they're like past. And then you're surprise. That's not the button I wanted to press. But yeah, just taking their time, both players. We're actually going to speed it up a little bit here. Dominator going vehicles does mean getting up to these high areas to build radars will be a little bit more difficult for him. So we select F2 to see transversability map. Or traversability, sorry, not transverse. Traversability. You can see that any of these red bits this vehicle is not going to be able to get up there. Now, Neb's commander pushing along the bottom here is going to give him a pretty strong position. He could choose, in theory, to just ball this right there and then never have to think about it ever again. But this is a very strong position to push from. Part of me wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing Neb build a factory here, building some build power, and then just pushing from this point. It's closer to his opponent's base, rather than having it still down here, slowly going. I mean, he only has... I was about to say he only had 1 build turret, but he now has 3 build turrets here. Building a res bot. There's not much to eat on this map, so I think he's planning on using it to just keep his forces topped off and maybe res things after fights. Now, Dominator going vehicles is, well, can be a bit of a problem for Neb. Neb using the high ground advantage here of building LLTs where they're not going to be able to really get shot at. And he doesn't really have enough pawns, especially to deal with all these incisors. You can see that mostly the Tech 1 side of things is pretty much stayed the same on this factory. Neb really struggling with his E-production right now, to the point where he's having to actually build a metal storage. Doesn't help that he's building more construction turrets when he's already struggling. And as we mentioned before, the constructor just able to go up the hill here, and these incisors can do nothing about it. Vehicle's probably not the right choice. At the same time, though, it's only not the right choice for this middle section. Most of the area along the top here is completely empty. And the vehicle constructors should be able to spread out quicker than bots just due to their speed, meaning that Dominator should be able to get more metal. Not only that, but the commander pushed right up here. This is an interesting choice. I would have thought Dominator's commander would have gone to here instead of these ones. Like, pushed maybe around like that. Because these can be captured at any point and be pretty safe. As long as he holds the center. The lashes are slowly going to whittle down those LLTs. This area over here now pretty much dead unless Neb is able to send some forces to save that. Neb not really with enough forces right now. And you can see here the first Tech 2 lab. And you can see it doesn't have access to the Fat Boy. It doesn't have access to the Sniper Bot. It has your all radar jammer, which is a huge thing for Hound Balls or Sheldon Balls. You know, this early Tech 2 phase, the early units you would pump out in a team game of Sheldon Balls would be without the radar jammers. And that's one of the things that make it so hard to counter, is the fact that they're basically invisible from your radar. Neb looked like he was maybe microing this army up here instead. Does manage to catch out 2 constructors, which is pretty good, and able to get a additional constructor in the middle here, losing 3 construction cons. That's quite a big loss from Dominator, all of the expansion basically. But Neb really struggling with units at the moment. He's got nothing at all on his flanks, and these incisors could just go right round. Now, Centurions are coming out, which will help deal the incisors. He's surprisingly pairing them with a bunch of pounds. The Tech 2 constructors do still have access to the better metal extractors, but they have access to lower tier AA. So you can see here that it doesn't have access to the chainsaw. And the Tech 2 constructor here has access to beamers and heavy laser towers, the same as this. So it's kind of split it up a bit, giving access to only the pop-up turret rather than the, you know, pulsar and so on. Now, Centurions pushing into Lashers aren't going to do too well. And we see Salamanders going against Neb's commander. Neb has no energy whatsoever to D-gun right now. Not the best of matchups here. Although these Lashers being unmicroed will mean that Neb will be able to make a very short work of them. he doesn't destroy all the Reclaim as well. These incisors, though, have managed to find this hole. They're sending hounds just straight in here, which is a interesting call. You're getting a lot of the economy, though. Although his commander seems to have walked all the way around here to get this metal extractor and not really gotten these while he's at it. Pretty bad micro of the commander there by Doominator. Bear in mind, both these players are the same OS levels here. And the Centurion's getting absolutely destroyed by Salamanders. And Webbers coming in, which you never see Webbers built. Just trying to eat up as much of the Reclaim as possible. And Salamanders doing what they do best now, going through the water at the bottom. Going to be able to get some good damage here. Taking out the corner mexes, and Neb is having to rush build some torpedo defenses, which you wouldn't really expect in a mostly land-based 1v1. He is able to build welders, which will be able to deal with the Salamanders, but still. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we see a Tech 2 aircraft lab, and this is where some of the biggest changes have taken place. The Tier 1 air has been normal Tier 1 air when we select over that, but the heavy air transport is now in the Tech 2 one. And the Tech 2 one has all the seaplanes. And then the Tech 3 air lab has all of the extra stuff. So again, just a reminder, this is a special mode that these guys are playing here, not a normal one. They are trialing an idea, in essence, for ways to sort balance out for maybe in the future, but it's not guaranteed that this is exactly how things are going to go. It's just an idea. So let Neb know in the comments what you think of it, though, because I'm sure he'll be interested to know what spectators think of this kind of mix-up. Slowing down the game by basically making it so that the economy takes longer to get to. What's your thoughts on that? Well, Hound's in the middle here. Hound's with no vision provided, no radar. Is again something you don't often see. He's got no radar bots with them. He could have built radar bots and is choosing not to. He's also actually transitioned all the way to vehicles now as well. And again, this is, you know, interesting because you don't normally see someone literally just go straight from Tech 2 bots to Tech 2 vehicles. They normally just hang in there and stay on with it. Also, having access to the hovercrafts in the Tech 2 lab does enable him to go back out and deal with the stuff in that corner. Salamander's doing a good job. Neb's commander, though, slightly out of position. He guns 2 of the Salamanders, but the last one will survive. It will survive. I was going to say, those guys are just hiding in a corner. And the Salamander threat has been solved. A bunch of Tigers just sat here at the top. It looks like the Illuminator is bringing his commander back via air transport. Now, these weapons actually have build power assigned to them, so they can be used to eat. As you can see here, I think they have the ability to repair as well, so you kind of can use them as like Tech 2 res bots, I guess. Centurion's kind of just being used as scouts at this point, which is surprising. Dominator really struggling for energy at the moment. Hound's getting a bit far ahead though, and will get killed by the tigers and pop-up. But because this map is so wide, yes, Nev's pushed right up here, but Dominator's just spread all the way across the top of the map. And Neb is taking a long time to be able to match that. Surprisingly still going for turtles due to the fact that he doesn't really have any other choices for tank. Doesn't have tigers, he only has turtles. There's kind of an advantage maybe that Vortex has here, is that not only does it have the salamander already, but it also has tigers. Whereas bulls are in the next tier by the looks of it. Yeah, in the next factory. So to get bulls to counter the tigers, he'd need to go up a tier. Now all these units have been slightly rebalanced. Some tweaks made to them. And these turtles actually are not doing too bad versus a superior number of tigers here. Turtles often laughed at as being one of the rubbishest tanks in the game. But clearly they've been rebalanced to be slightly better than the tigers, which is not what I was expecting. And it also looks like Dominator was not expecting that either, with losing pretty much his entire tank force here. The Weber is trying to get some of this reclaim. And here we see the big boy factory, with consoles basically replacing the tier 3 constructors in essence. And as we watch the fight take place here, you can see that he's able to just straight up build Titans, as well as all of these defenses and decoys and such. Quite a lot that this guy can build. And their icon is obviously bigger on the map. Would obviously take some significant getting used to, because you just think, oh, it's just a console. But no, it's actually a tech-free constructor and is pretty important. They still only build the same metal extractors, so you kind of don't really need them for that. But, as you can see here, you can only build fusions on the Tech 2 constructors. So if you want to scale to advanced fusions, you then need to go into Tech 3. So it basically slows down the whole economy, like, sprawling, sorry. Because you have to invest in this factory. And this factory is 5k metal. So it's not just, you know, 2k metal for Tech 2 or 2.5k and that's it. You need 2.5 or 2k-ish for your Tech 2 factory, then basically 5k for your Tech 3 factory before you get access to fusion, advanced fusion. And obviously these have been reduced in cost a little bit, 1,600 you see here for the Tech 2. But it still means you've got to spend like an extra maybe 4k of metal before you're able to get those advanced fusions. So it could have a big impact on team games if this was made more widespread. No 12-minute nuke rushes or, you know, 8-minute fat boys. Now, as Dominator sees that bulls have started to appear, back in his base, you can see he's started into his tech experimental lab then, I guess. You can see it has the Tsar, it has the Cataphract, as well as this is the printer one, and this is where the radar jammer is as well. So you can build like the basic kind of tier 3. Which is interesting, because it also means is you basically keep both constructors, both factories. You don't reclaim them, because it's like, right, well, you want banishers in this, but you also want radars and radar jammers, so you're going to need this one as well. Ooh, the tier 3 cons have a build power of 600. That is a lot of build power. To bear in mind, a normal construction turret has a build power of 200. You know, that's basically this constructor is the equivalent of 3 con turrets, which is a lot. Now, Neb's really struggling for economy right now. He is basically dead near the water when it comes to energy production. He really needs more energy production. And Doominator really struck in lane here. Ah, he blocked his Tech 2 factory, so he's had to reclaim it. No! Oh, that was another thing I remember. The pinpointers have slightly changed. The pinpointers, if I remember correctly, Neb said that they are radar jammers and radar. So they're not like the normal ones now, they're just using that model. Oh, great Tsar hit though. And Neb's army looking a bit worse for wear now. Tigers are really struggling to catch up. Tsar is obviously miles behind. You can see Neb keeping some bulls here to the side. Don't think that was necessarily intentional there, though. Neb just staying slightly out of range. Oh, but the Banisher goes after air instead. There's a lot of metal extractors up here that I'm surprised Neb hasn't just sent like a single grunt or something to just have a look at what's going on up there. When it comes to splash damage, Tsar is still king. Damn, that's a lot of bulls. The fact that he's got a console, like, just up here, right outside of Doominator's base, just building mechs is a bit ridiculous. He needs to build up his eco, though. He's now starting to get fusions up. Going into Lunkhead straight off without having to do anything is quite funny. 2 Lunkheads already just sat on the front. Just Tsars. So all Doominator is going for, only Tsars. Of course, Tsars countered very hard by just, you know, building some spam, but the funny thing is because he has access to turtles, he literally could just go like, why is it not drawing? He could just literally go over the hill like that. And Doominator wouldn't really be able to do much to stop him. Tsar's just completely shut down that army and now will be free to eat everything. But with Lunkheads making a move, let's see where he's planning to send them. Apparently the opposite side of the map. Looks like we see some con turrets being built here. Maybe a extra factory to push this top side, maybe. I don't know. What do you think of this tech split idea? I'm undecided at this point. It is interesting. Why has that factory got air, like a sound, and the rest don't? Seaplanes being the strong seaplanes that they are. This is a bit overkill, building pop-up turrets to deal with mechs. Neb. Bit over the top. Is that going to make a noise every time a seaplane is built? That's going to be really annoying. Yes. And here come the amphibious. Neb's commander obviously unable to do anything in the water, but he has the ability to just build some, sea torpedo gunships here, which will deal with them. He has a lot of torpedo defenses. He had his lunkhead. The lunkheads would deal with that as well, but, Neb will lose the Climaxes again. We select Neb's point of view here. He knows they've been coming for ages because of this radar, and yet he has not really moved units to intercept them. Oh my god, that is such an annoying noise. Oh no, it's like Dominator, do I still get that? No. Okay. We're not selecting Neb ever again now for the rest of this replay. Quickly switching over to the lunkheads. Looks like they're really struggling to deal with the Tsars. Really struggling. Torpedo defenses are trying to make work on these guys, but not enough. Neb having to prepare to D-gun. Remember, D-guns cannot go underwater. And the Salamanders managed to make it through, taking out huge chunks of build power. Build power desperately trying to eat them up. Starlights need to turn around. Desperately trying to focus down the build power. The build power, though, protected in the corner by the surprising metal storage that actually managed to save the day. And Neb did lose a lot there, but it's not the end of the world. This one Salamander left is just apparently free to run around. You can see a Tech 2 lab built up on the left here. Surprisingly, he's building recluses versus Tsars. I don't think that's going to work out very well. Oh no, we've got Neb selected again because of that annoying noise. And although Neb is ahead when it comes to metal a second, mostly due to the fact that he's eaten a bunch of units, he is not looking good right now. He doesn't really have the units here. He has a bunch of lunkheads that don't really do much, especially versus 4 Tsars. And the rest of the stuff is he's dealing with a bunch of tigers, salamanders, everything really. He has gone for the very traditional bull starlight play, which are apparently all missing their shots. Select Neb again. It was Tsars here just making really short work of those lunkheads. And what's the next play? Well, it's hard to say at this point. Wow, those recluses' range have really increased. Okay, I didn't realize the ranges had gotten that much. Oh, recluses have been switched to an AA role. No, they haven't. It was the recluses firing AA, though, I'm pretty sure we just saw. Bloody noise. Noise is so annoying. Barkas really needs to get a plan in action here. Just building more bulls and stuff like that, but bulls versus Tsars, not the best of plays. Meanwhile, on the other side, scouts, fighters, and poison arrows clearly planning to make the most of this open flank that Neb has. Meanwhile, Neb's secondary base here is about to get cut off. Oh, he did actually go take 3 bots over there with the intention to build some marauders. Although he may just given his position away, moving some sprinters. I think the idea on the sprinters was to try and micro them and get the Tsars to shoot friendlies, but Not really working out for him right now. He has seaplane bombers that may try and deal with the Tsars. Luckily enough for Neb that the Tsars are actually heading towards his main base instead. Meanwhile, the poison arrows have now made it into the water in the corner. And of course, all of his torpedo gunships are dead, so he doesn't have anything anymore to deal with all this. I don't know how Neb's going to deal with that many poison arrows, to be honest with you. Not only that, but he does have torpedo gunships, but he's not actually sending them. Neb's attempt to cause friendly fire does do some damage, but Neb may be about to lose his base, though. But at the same time, Neb is pushing into Doominator's base, and Doominator's commander is right there. And he ends up hitting...
Commander has fallen.
Oh my goodness. Just due to pure luck, Neb's tanks happened to walk into Doominator's commander. He did not even realize at all. He was hoping that the bombers would do something, ended. But no, that was Doominator's game to win there. If only he had his commander up on this high ground instead, he would have survived, but the attack probably would have wiped his base. But at the same time, you know, Neb's base would have been wiped as well. Well, yeah, that's the tech split, rather. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll pass on anything useful onto Neb, of course, and I'll see you all next time.